Everyone. So the Lakers got an absolute great win against the Milwaukee Bucks today. And it's not so much that they won, it's the manner in which they won, right? Milwaukee is arguably the best team in the league. Many people see Milwaukee as a team that is very likely to come out the East and even potentially win the NBA championship. There's not very many teams in the league that are as good as Milwaukee, especially when they are fully healthy. I mean, last season, for example, when Giannis, Holiday, and Middleton all played, they were 37-10 last season when they all played together. Many believe that they would have won and likely went back-to-back had they ended up being able to stay healthy and have Chris Middleton not get injured. I think even they very likely would have beaten the Chicago Bulls. Lakers have been, a roller coaster this season, to put it nicely, right? Started off to just a really rough beginning, right? 0-5 on the season. At one point, they're 2-10. And since then, they've really been able to turn it around. It's helped that guys are starting to get healthy and this team is starting to mesh better. Guys are starting to average out more. And so, therefore, they're starting to knock down shots. And this was a game that, they had their big three. We had our big three. And we got the job done. Anthony Davis outplayed Giannis. LeBron was great. Russell Westbrook was fantastic. Everybody, all three of them played great today. And so did Milwaukee, right? Milwaukee's big three were great. Holiday had 28. Middleton had 17. Giannis had 40. Davis comes in with 44. We had that showdown, and we actually came out on top, and that was a big question. And this was a win that we really needed because it was a confidence-building win. Now, I don't want to get too high on the highs, too low on the lows. I don't want to take this as one game and that's it. We're coming. We're a championship contender. But this game was a great example of what I've said all offseason and season. Look, you still at the end of the day have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook. This was probably the best game that the three of them have played together. This might have been Russ's best overall game as a Laker. Yes, he's had bigger games where he's put up more points or more assists or whatever, but it was the impact of the game, the way he controlled the game, the way that he, kept the pace and just took care of the basketball and was the playmaker and chose his spots in which to get his points. Like, all of those things were huge, and he really impacted the game on several levels. Now, obviously, the missed free throws at the end, that was a little scary and sketchy, and he's got to make those, but he also made the big play where, he wasn't even in position and managed to get the ball, get us a bucket, and put us in the position to go and win the game to begin with. So, you take the good with the bad. There's always going to be those mistakes. There's always going to be a hiccup here and there. But for the most part, we got the job done. We closed out the game. LeBron and AD closed out the game beautifully, which is what we've been needing. Almost every game this year have been winnable. Outside of maybe 3 games, every game we could have won. And you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. That's the part of the game, right? But we need to win more than we lose. Now, the big question though is how close are the Lakers? How close are they to legitimately being contenders? Because just because they beat Milwaukee, I don't think they beat Milwaukee, so they're the best team in the league. No, I still think the Lakers need a move. But now I'm not sure if they need a big move. And this is something I've reiterated time and time again. So this isn't like I watched the Bucks game and I've changed my mind. No, I still feel the same way I did, when we lost to the Pacers, the way I do now when we beat the Bucks, because I think that the Lakers are there. I think they're a very good team. I don't think that they are a legit contender yet. I wouldn't be surprised. I've said, if the Lakers win the championship this year, even currently constructed, as the roster stands right now, if the Lakers win, I don't think anyone would be surprised. Because at the end of the day, people will be like, look, you still had LeBron James, you still had Anthony Davis, and you still had Russell Westbrook, right? So if the whole thing has been, if those three can make it work and figure it out, then this is a contending team. Well, if they do that, this is the result we got. A Lakers team that can compete with the best and come out ahead even when the other team plays good. I mean, Milwaukee, Giannis put up 40. They usually win that game. They made 17 threes. They usually win that game. Everything was in, 9 out of 10 times Milwaukee wins those games that they played today. And we were able to keep up with them, get the lead, and win, right? And we had it pretty much the entire game. And the beauty is even when they came back And even when they took the lead briefly, boom, we'd get it right back. Or they take the lead again, boom, we'd get it right back. And it was just this back and forth. And just, this might have been the game of the year, honestly. At least so far, in my book, it was. It was just so fun. And even if the Lakers lost this game, I think this was a game that they could really hang their hat on, right? But the fact that they won really makes it that much better. But I still think the Lakers need a move. I really do. I think that they need to take Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn, and they need to go make a trade. Problem is, I don't think you could trade Russell Westbrook. I really don't. I think what Russ provides this team and his energy and his just tenacity and just him willing to do the intangibles, I think is just, it's too valuable and too important that I don't think trading him for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, you're going to be able to get all those things. You know, you're not going to be able to get all the stuff that Russ provides. Not just that, but the playmaking that Russ provides is just unparalleled. He is so good and has just built such good chemistry with Davis and, you know, Bryant and Gabriel and the other guys. And even him and LeBron were running that pick and roll and it was working. They need to go back to that more. And that is something I've even said in the past. The Russ Davis pick and roll is lethal. And they completely go away from it. Frank Vogel just stopped doing that at all. And it was killing teams. And guess what happened? We saw it again today, and it was killing teams. And so I really think you got to keep Russell Westbrook. You got to trade Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn. I know Patrick Beverley, he's a locker room guy. I understand he's a guy, you know, the defense it can be contagious and just him going after it. And he was great on Middleton at stretches and all that stuff. Like, he really was. I understand that. But this team still needs more to be a legit contender, or at least in the conversation. I really think you need to take these two. If you have to take Damian Jones or something like that, you do it. You go do a deal. You go get a trade done, and then just evaluate and see where you're at. Because for you to go and do the big blockbuster trade and, you know, go turn, you know, Russ, Nunn, and Bev into 5 guys, I don't know if it's going to be tough. Because you need that chemistry to work. You need them to build. They're basically starting from scratch in many ways. It is easier to incorporate role players than it is to incorporate another star. But it still could be a challenging road. And maybe it isn't. Maybe you go get several guys that comes in and boom, it's beautiful. Boom, all is good. And I do think if you could put together multiple trades, like if you could do like, just throwing it out there, but like say you could do like the Spurs and the Pacers trade, you know, for whatever reason. Let's say the Pacers are like, yeah, we'll do one first. Or, you know, you could do the Pistons and the Pacers trade, something like that. Then yeah, I think maybe you trade Russell Westbrook in that regard, because it's like you're not only thinking about now, but you're thinking about the future too. And you get, you know, if you could get like a Bojan Bogdanovic, a Buddy Hield, a Miles Turner, stuff, like you gotta kind of do that, right? But unless like that is a possibility, I think you got to keep Russell Westbrook. Or, you know, if Kyrie becomes available or something like that. You know, if some superstar becomes available, then maybe you go swap that out. But in reality, I think you take Bev, you take Nunn, and you go look at a deal. I really think if you could get Bojan Bogdanovic and Sadiq Bey, I think you do it. I think you take Bev, you take Nunn, you go get 2 wing guys in Sadiq Bey and Bojan Bogdanovic, 2 guys that are capable of putting up numbers. You get a young 3-and-D type guy in Sadiq Bey. He's more of the scorer than he is the defender, but still, he's got the intangibles to be a defender. He's got the youth. Bojan Bogdanovic, just a lethal shooter from anywhere on the court. You know, he's 50, 40, 90 guy, a guy that can get you 20 a night, that gives you, you know, less of a scoring burden. And you still have Russ to operate. I really think this, I don't want to say would make them a contender, but I think it moves them marginally in the right direction, right? Depending on how they fit in, of course. But if the Lakers can maintain the level of play that we just saw against the Milwaukee Bucks, and you go add Bojan Bogdanovic and Sadiq Bey, 2 guys that can give you solid production, 2 guys, you're basically taking Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn, who are giving you nothing offensively, and turning them into a 20-point per game scorer who is shooting like literally lethal from everywhere and just had like a 33-point game. And if you could get a Sadiq Bey in it as well, you basically turn two guys that are giving you no production into two guys that can legitimately help you on multiple fronts with this team. That is a huge marginal move, right? And so if you could do that, I think that takes the Lakers and see, maybe it does make them a contender. You know, maybe Bojan Bogdanovic continues to play the way he's playing and the Lake, like you do, let's say you do this deal, let's just say on like the 16th of December, right? Deal gets done. Again, I'm not even saying it'll happen, just humor me, right? 16th of December. We get that deal done. That gives us essentially 2 months until the trade deadline. What if that gives us like at least, 30 games or whatever between, that time and the trade deadline. In those 30 games, what if you're like 20-10? I think you're a legit contender, right? Especially with the road that they have in like December and January and stuff, like you're a legit contender. Now, if you go 18-12, then you need something else. You're not there yet. You need more, right? So then what else do you need? I think you do the trade, you go get Bojan Bogdanovic, you go get Sadiq Bey, or something similar. It doesn't necessarily have to be these two guys, but just two guys of production. You go get those two guys of production. I think you're in the conversation now. I think you're up there as one of the better teams in the league. Assuming AD continues to be Anthony Davis, you still need your main guys. You still need Russ to be Russ, LeBron to be LeBron, and AD to be AD. But if that can happen, you just got two more guys that you can add to the rotation that can legitimately be a contributor and factor. That is huge. And I think it's a needle in the right direction. And then see where we go. And if it doesn't work out, then you still have the Russ trade. You could still take Russell Westbrook and you could go make a deal. Go make it happen. I don't think this team is that far off. I definitely do think they need pieces. I mean, I even said after the Pacers game, I said after watching the Pacers game, watching these Spurs games, it is clear the Lakers need another scorer. And I still believe that. I still believe the Lakers need another scorer because there's going to be games where, LeBron or AD or Russ or maybe two of them have a bad game or they miss a game or, whatever. And you just need, or just to have the pressure taken off of them. And you need somebody that can come in and provide that punch. And I think if you could get like a Bojan Bogdanovic, I think that's a guy that can do that. You go get a guy like Bogdanovic, he just takes so much pressure off of LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook to have to night in and night out provide a bulk of your offense, right? Austin Reeves has really stepped up. Walker has really stepped up. I think the influx of Dennis Schroeder and the way he's been playing, I think really helps a lot. I think Thomas Bryant, Gwynn Gabriel, you got those guys, right? Troy Brown has been really nice. So you got your big three. You got Reeves, Walker, Brown, Gabriel, Schroeder, and Thomas Bryant. So you have legit like 9 guys that are contributing on a nightly basis. If you can go get, 1 or 2 more guys that can come in and be really impactful, then I think you have a legit chance, right? And not just that, but now, like let's say you get Bogdanovic, right? Now, Brown can be that guy off the bench, and now that 8 points a game he's given us is that much more effective, right? Now you have a starting 5 of Schroeder, Walker, Bojan, LeBron, and Davis. That is more balanced. That gives you more scoring. That gives you more shooting. That gives you more everything. And then you still have a bench of, Russ, Reeves, Brown, Gabriel, Bryant. Like now you're a legit team. Now you're, 5, 6, 7 players deep off the bench. And I think that this team could really start making a run, and this could be really okay, like the Lakers are legit. I don't think they're quite there yet, but I don't think they're that far off. I don't. I still, the same thing I said after the Pacers game was we really need another scorer. I really still believe that's the same thing. I really do. We need a guy that can just get easier buckets at times, right? Because I feel like a lot of times we really have to work for our points. Where if you had a guy like Bojan Bogdanovic, he's a guy that all you need, quick move, quick to the basket, driving kick, boom. He's going to go get you a bucket. He could pump fake, take the step in, boom, bucket, right? Like, I think that would be huge. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. What do you think? How close are we? Are we there? Are we not? Are we far off? Are we somewhere in between? However you feel, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. Let me know down in the comment section below.